Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman29, and I thought I'd come on and talk about something really interesting. I was coming home from work the other day, and I happened to catch. Usually, I scan through some Christian channels and listen to a few radio preachers just to see what they're talking about and stuff like that, because it sometimes jolts some things inside of me that would prompt me to think about other things, which would prompt me to make a video such as this one. And I was really tired, driving home, trying to stay awake. I had a coffee because I had to work nights into the morning. And I happened to come across this guy, Ravi Zacharias. And I was amazed. I was amazed, for one thing, that a evangelical minister or spokesperson would be as well read as Ravi in world religion, anthropology, and on subjects of the metaphor, which made me sit up and listen that I'd be actually hearing this on an evangelical radio station. And I'm gonna post his link over there. Don't look at any pictures of the guy. He sounds better than he looks, but check out some of his radio broadcasts, and you might like it. Now he still has an evangelical slant to a lot of this stuff, obviously, because he's an evangelical minister. However, he's one of the first ones that I have heard that is able to start to see how the metaphor transitions through time and how religion dies. And in his sermon, in one of his speeches he gave, he quoted the Madman by Nietzsche, and I'm going to post that over there also. And he talked about the murder of God and how it just becomes symbolism and feelings and emotion and nothing really real. And he explains somewhat how that happened and how we have killed the metaphor in our religion. And coming from an evangelical minister, it was mind-blowing. And this is what I also wanted to talk about too, was I did a video a while back, the Trinity is not a New Testament idea, where I talked about heavenly councils in Babylon and Egyptian gods being combined. It was just an early idea, an introduction to how the Trinity may have evolved in the thought process. Augustine was the one who worked out the theology for that idea. However, I was just discussing some things from the ancient Near Eastern literature on how the transition was made. Talking about some man gods and making some comparisons. I got a comment from Warrior Prince 1010, and I believe I met him in the Pal Talk chat room, and he commented on some of my videos, and I very much appreciate his comments. And he comes from the type of belief system that would think this way, and I don't blame him for thinking this way. Every person has a right to their own beliefs and ideas about it, and anyone can follow any kind of theology for the most part that makes them feel at one with their deity or religion. But he makes some things that I just wanted to comment on in a video, and it goes right along with the murder of God. First one, he writes, "The Trinity has been proven to be a lie, and I wonder why some still believe it. If people hate God, I would rather they became atheists rather than apostate." And my response was, yes, you're most correct. The New Testament idea of the Trinity is wrong. However, like the literature, I have posted links to elsewhere that shows such ideas about deities existed. At times, the literature does go against theology, especially in the ancient Near East. And he wrote, "The New Testament is not wrong. The Trinity is man-made. I think the Babylonians and Egyptians believed in a Trinity, and they were false religions. Today, Christendom believe in the Trinity, and they also are false man-made religions." And And then he has a Bible quote, Matthew 4:10. Jesus was clear who he worships. There are many Egyptian, Babylonian, and other triune gods. This is where apostates get their trinity from. Now this is amazing because I've always wondered about this. Naturally, it's natural that you can see the falsehood in other religions from your own religion. So a Babylonian would say Christianity was false. A Egyptian would say Christianity was false. However, the literature says, and literature examples show, that the same motifs are involved in each, whether we like it or not, and the same themes. Amun-Ra can be found in the Old Testament, the double name, as Yahweh Elohim. So double names were very much used in the ancient Near East, and it's not out of place. Man gods, Gilgamesh, 1/3 God, the rest man, and he conquers and slices and dices, kind of like a warrior. We get examples like that of Samson, and later some of those ideas were attributed to Christ. And what's amazing is, I'm wondering why we can't see it. Why can't we see examples in ancient Near Eastern literature, in our own literature, and accept it without pouncing on that they were pagan, that they were false believers, when it appears in the literature that we were doing the very same thing. And like I said, a lot of times our theology skews how we view religion, and our modern day impressions on how we think about religion and what we were taught about theology is placed on old texts, and then we interpret them as just plain myth. Not the myth, not my definition of myth, but as an evangelical definition of myth, which is far different. To me, myth is a totally different thing, but what I'm talking about is false fairy tales, made up stories, when we take the same themes in our own religion and believe them as true. And it seems to be a huge hurdle that people need to get over, because once you freeze the myth and it cannot transform through time, you murder God. And it's amazing how today's religion has become irrelevant for a lot of people, and they're trying to transform those metaphors into something that they can identify with and use. So without going on much more longer, that was just some things that I've been thinking about. And Warrior Prince, feel free to comment on this video. This is no way attacking you or your belief system. I would expect nothing less from you on what you believe, and you're free to believe those ideas. But I just happen to disagree. And when I read literature from other cultures and I find the same motifs show up in what I'm reading in my own religion, I'm allowed to comment on that and think about that in such a way. So take care, YouTubers. Take care of yourself and each other.